Brazil, and I'm still thinking how I'm going to do this in 5 minutes because it's a very long story. This is a social movement with almost 30 years, and we organize, we estimate about 1.5 million people in Brazil, landless farmers. The MST is organized in almost all over the country in Brazil, and as I said, we mobilize people to do struggles for land, for agrarian reform, and for social transformation. Also for better life conditions with education, health, culture, and respecting each other and to the nature. The MST is also part of La Via Campesina, that is an international network of peasant movements, about 170 peasant movements from 80 countries. And I see the situation, it's not very different from the countries who talked before me. And maybe some of you are thinking now that Brazil, it's now becoming a big economy and, you know, like recognized as almost a central economy, but the poor people are still there, and especially the women in the countryside are living sometimes in very, very bad conditions of poverty. Well, Brazil, it's a big country, it's the 5th country in the world, and we can say that the land issue is there since the beginning of its foundation. Well, we now are talking a lot of land grabbing, and that's not a new thing for us, although it has very different ways of happening all over the country and in this so many years that it happens. Some ways are more legal and some more illegal, and the others totally illegal ways of doing this. And as I said today, with this crisis, well, we see these central economies just looking at these countries that still have a large reserve of natural resources, has land, water, and well, minerals and forests. So the big agribusiness companies are coming to Brazil, and of course you can say Brazil. Also, Brazilian companies go to other countries. It's true. Brazilian companies are buying land in Africa. So it's not just a problem of countries. It's a problem of the system, of the capitalism system. So these big companies of the agribusiness are coming to our country and buying lands and investing in agribusiness for export. So nature is every day becoming more and more good, and common goods are being patented, seeds are being genetically modified and sterilized, and even food is standardized and infected by pesticides. I will like to give you a data, is that Brazil since 2009 is the largest consumer of agricultural pesticides of the world. It's about 1 billion liters of pesticides are spread over the land farms during a year. That means, if we can do this simply, that each Brazilian will be infected, will consume 5.2 liters of agricultural pesticides through the food and the water by year. So, can you imagine? We just drinking or eating 5.2 liters of agricultural poison. So that's our reality, and we just see how women are affected by that. It were made some health investigations, and it was found that women that live very far from these big multicultural agribusiness farms, the milk that they feed their children are totally infected by this poison. So can you imagine that thing that we do best, that is to feed our children? We can't do it anymore because we are infected with all these poisons. But and for us it's clear that the governments had a very strong paper on this. They decided they want to support this kind of agriculture. Brazilian, it's not different, although it has some good politics, agrarian reform laws, but they are not really implemented. And in fact, those who are founding the agribusiness companies, just give you one more data, it's $130 billion a year for these agribusiness companies in credit and to produce crops like ethanol, soybean, corns, eucalyptus. And for the small farmers, only 10 billions. It's like 130 billions to 10 billion. So it's clear their option. So we are now standing up our voices for the food sovereignty. We believe that food, it's a human right. So we must struggle for food sovereignty, but also for food security, but also for food sovereignty. That is the right that we have to produce our own food in an ecological way, culturally appropriated way. So we believe more than a concept, but just to say that it was a concept introduced by the women of the peasant movements in the World Food Summit in 1996. So the women are very important on this. But it's not just a concept, it's also a principle and a life ethic. It's to have the right to produce our own food without being controlled by the markets. And for that, we need to have policies that strengthen the smallholders and the peasant farmers, the agroecological way of producing, to have cooperatives with processing food through local small industries, and to see the countryside as a place of life and not just a productive place where people can live with dignity. So we think this is very important, and my time is finished, but I wanted to say we are a mixed movement, but the gender question was there since the beginning. So I have our flag here, and there's a man and a woman on that. And we believe also to improve the women's production, we made give them some to encourage the effective participation. So we need to build spaces like community nurseries, community laundries, community kitchens, so they really can do the productive way, and also to go and stand up their voices and go to the struggle. While I'm here, women of Landless movement in Brazil are preparing an amount of activities for the International Day of Women, just to denounce our situation and to make people to see there's another possibility to live in the countryside with joy and happiness. And thank you.